Well, joining us now is someone that you mentioned in your piece in the National Catholic Register, Cassandra Taylor of Springs in the Desert, a ministry that was created to provide a place of encouragement, respite, and solidarity for couples who are struggling with infertility or experience pregnancy loss. Welcome, Cassandra, to this conversation. You're mostly a virtual ministry, but you do also offer retreats. Can you tell us a little more about how your ministry works on those two fronts?
Sure. So we offer through our website, springsinthedesert.org. We have a blog, we have a podcast that you can find wherever you like to listen. We also have social media channels on Instagram and Facebook. And so we use those to minister to people kind of on their own time. We also have virtual small groups during Lent, especially where we have people coming from all over the world, really. But we also understand that infertility is a cross that is so important to be carried in community. And so nothing can replace those in-person relationships. So we've had several in-person retreats. We're actually having one this weekend in Phoenix, Arizona. And that has been kind of a jumping off point for people to start forming communities in person. And we're working on piloting our in-person small groups as well. So we are walking with you wherever you are.
That's beautiful. Leigh, the conversation of surrogacy has been at the forefront at the Vatican and in U.S. policy. How should a Catholic be thinking about their desire for family, that place that's where we all start this conversation about either infertility or motherhood?
Sure. I think that we need to let go of the importance of biological kinship. I mean, however important and sacred that is. I think that building a family is more about love. I mean, we are adopted sons of the Father through Christ and his mother. I think that adoption is a natural part of our Christianity and our Catholicism. I think that if you emphasize biological kinship too much, it does drive people to pursue unethical routes like surrogacy and IVF. And it also leads people to worry about, parenting a child that's not of their biological stuff, which, I mean, in any case, every child, even born to our bodies, is a mysterious stranger. And so I think that we need to, as a whole, de-emphasize the need for biological kinship, and I think that will eliminate a lot of the temptation to pursue surrogacy and other ARTs.
I'm sure that a lot of mothers with teenagers would agree with you that they are parenting strangers. Cassandra, this cross of infertility sometimes can be temporary, sometimes permanent. How do you minister to those two realities?
Sure. So we understand that infertility covers a lot of different spectrums. So there's primary infertility, there's secondary infertility in the case of couples who do have living children. And of course, pregnancy loss is also in the mix. So we understand that couples who are really in this month to month, really trying to conceive, maybe they are doing treatments and getting surgeries, that they're maybe going to need something different from couples who have perhaps been through a medical hysterectomy or have entered menopause. But what we're really trying to emphasize across the board is trust in God, surrender to his will, the surrender of the gift of our fertility to his will. And we know that it's mysterious and that's really hard when month after month it's heartbreak. It's also really hard when you're someone who's post-hysterectomy like myself. That reality is going to look a little different, but our team members are really across the board. We've had team members who have conceived after long periods of infertility. So we understand that this cross is multifaceted, but we're really trying to emphasize that there is a call to holiness for all of us and fruitfulness that can be found for all of us, whether or not we are blessed with the gift of a pregnancy. And so we are just called to trust in God, even if our infertility is permanent, that he will bring forth fruitfulness and great grace in our lives and from our lives and the gift of our marriages.
Now, Cassandra, you're mentioning that closeness to God, and Leigh just mentioned the reality of couples who have tried IVF. How do you minister to couples who are on a different path or not particularly in line with what church teaching calls us into in working through the cross of infertility?
Sure. So Springs in the Desert, we adhere to the magisterium and teaching of the Catholic Church, not just when it comes to IVF, but across all artificial reproductive technologies. So we emphasize and acknowledge that gift, that desire to parent is a good one, but also that we are, yes, needing to adhere to the teachings of the Catholic Church in our personal lives. That being said, life is long and it's a journey of conversion. And so we are there for couples who are maybe coming back to the faith after trying IVF, or, wherever they are. We're not here to be passing judgment. There are a lot of resources that you can look to learn more about the teachings of the church. We're there to proclaim the goodness of God and the goodness of marriage, and we are there to welcome couples back and to be there and to help them maybe get back with God through the carrying of this cross, no matter what's happened.
And through the love of a ministry like yours. Leigh, you came upon Springs in the Desert, and it was a very welcome surprise that you are discovering now as well. What do you think is missing in this space for the church to give as a gift back to the laity?
Well, I think that Springs in the Desert is filling what was a missing space. And I wish that I had found someone, a place like them 20 years ago when I was a young Catholic bride dealing with infertility. The resources were slim, and now when you go out there, there's the conversation is really getting good. Mary Bruno is someone who I think is familiar to all of us, who's written a really wonderful book about infertility and an early age hysterectomy called 12 Stripes Deep. And she's young. She has a great social media presence. I think she's really enriching the Catholic infertility conversation. So I think as long as people keep talking, that void's going to be filled.
That's beautiful. Cassandra, you also provide resources to church leaders. What do those resources look like?
So we offer a pastoral toolkit, which parishes can order, dioceses can order it for their priests. And it's just chock full of all of our resources that we've put together, basically. The most important of those, I would say, is the Pastoral Guide for Ministering to Couples with Infertility that we wrote for priests to give them a greater understanding of this cross. We know how busy and overburdened our pastors are, so we really want to come alongside priests, not to say, here's all the things you have to do, but here's how we can help you minister to these couples. Here are some things you may not have thought of. Here's why artificial reproductive technologies can be a temptation, and what maybe we can do to counter that, and why maybe it's not the best thing to immediately jump to offering suggestions or suggesting adoption to couples who are struggling with infertility if this comes up in the confessional. So there's lots of good stuff. And we are also offering our small group resources. So we have a curricula available on our website, springsinthedesert.org, for a women's small group. And we are working and dreaming on developing many more so that pastors and pastoral leaders in the church can minister to these couples who are really on the margins.
That's perfect. Well, thank you both. We're going to leave it right there. Thank you for enriching this conversation and continuing to advocate for the church to reach out to those who are struggling with this cross. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You can learn more about Springs in the Desert, their virtual meetings and in-person retreats by visiting their website, springsinthedesert.org.